Good morning. Welcome back, guys. It's Jason with your Hopium Free Crypto channel. Today we're looking at risky altcoins. No, it's not all FUD. That's a good line to begin with, though, isn't it? Not all FUD. No, it's not all FUD. I have talked about it many times before on the channel, but the question still remains around should we be buying altcoins? Now, I'm not negative or bearish against all altcoins all the time. I do like to use altcoins to increase my Bitcoin holdings and my Ethereum holdings, and at some point, some stablecoin holdings as well. So, what I want to look at today is the altcoin charts and then compare those to 2017 so that we can see what risks we are up against coming into a second stage of a Bitcoin bull market. Now, chill out. I don't think we're going into a multi-year Bitcoin or cryptocurrency bear market. I think this one is, like we've talked about plenty of times before, that sort of 12 or so months beneath the old all-time highs. Could be a little longer, but I'm looking at a low coming in at some point between 6 and 12 months. So we're 3 months in. Maybe we've seen the low, maybe we haven't. We'll soon find out, obviously. But I want to look at the risk that we take by buying altcoins the second time round after they've already had their huge run-ups in that first stage. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone here. Thank you very much for joining. Make sure you've hit the like button, and if you want to comment, make sure you're subscribed as well. Hit the bell notification so you can see when these videos come up live, and make sure you've hit all, so the bell notification icon with all. Thanks again, all the comments coming through. Let's start with our charts like we always do. Let's look at the overall crypto market cap. We'll do a quick update, go through our fear and greed plan, do what I would normally do on a regular investor type day. You know, you're starting your day with your portfolio. You want to see what's going on. I don't like to flick through charts or news or anything like that. I start with my portfolio and have a look at that. So yes, I do look at charts, but I don't flick through a whole lot of news. You know, that news can wait. All right. Cool. Well, first thing is look at the crypto market caps, 1.325. We're still holding up. Bitcoin, 600 billion. Cool. Price is at 32,000 USD. Not much has happened over the last 24 hours. So we had that one big 8% day increase after the B word event. And now the market's basically been pretty stagnant over the last 24 hours. Ethereum, same sort of deal. Cardano's had a little bit of a drop. XRP, a little bit up because it didn't rise yesterday. Doge, down, typical. Polkadot, up a little more. Uniswap, so these guys didn't really have a big day yesterday, but they're having a little more of a day today. So you can see the trickle through from the majors into the minors in the major leagues. Stellar's had a big day. Chainlink, a few percent up, but Chainlink's been lagging as well. Solana, a little up, and not too much else to speak of back here. Terra had a bit of a day, and Aave as well. Let's look at our cryptos against their BTC value. All right, so this is the important part that we're going to look at in today's video, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. Maybe you've got some altcoins, and I will look at your altcoins at the end after I've gone through a few charts to explain what I'm looking at and you know how I keep my wits about me so I don't want to get too risky. So I do play it a little more conservative than some others, only because I've been through another cycle. And look, at the end of the day, you're still going to make some gains, but it just depends on how close you follow the market. If you're really onto it, you don't have a day job, this is all you're doing 24/7, then you know you're probably going to do all right if you continue to improve on what you're seeing. So Bitcoin, ETH, we want to see the green here. So this is in the 24-hour area and also the 7 days. We want to see green on this one, but you can see most of them are red. 1%, 0.7%. I mean, Litecoin doesn't really go up against Bitcoin. It's actually at all-time lows. Chainlink's up a little, but it's been lagging. Stellar's up. Must have been some news. That's all I could put that down to. Polygon, 5% down after having a pretty solid day yesterday of around 20% up against BTC. We're going to look at Polygon Matic. Theta up today, which is good. ICP down And you can see there's not too much going on here. Okay, B, yep. And that's basically it. Not much else is happening on this one. So let's have a look at our fear and greed. 23, no action. What is the Bitcoin price? Bitcoin price is starting to move. So we're at 32,678. Call it 32,700 just so we can get a nice round number here. 32,700. We're only down 3.6% on what we have invested. So this is our total investment here. And our average price, no, let's change that to average, is 34,085. So if we get to 34,100, basically we're at break even from all of the investments that we have done while the market's been down. That's a pretty good result so far. Now, I'm not saying that the low is definitely in, but it is showing some more signs of a low coming in. So my first target, we were looking at 31,000 yesterday, and it looks to have held 31,000 so far. We have a second up day now, but we had an inside day. So yesterday's market action didn't go above the previous day's high. So we really wanted to see 3 solid days straight up, but we haven't seen that. So I'm not overly sold on this being a major bottom, but it definitely looks like a solid turn for several days to a few weeks. So we'll keep tracking it, but it needs to get over 33,000 now because that's our halfway point between our our intermediate top and our bottom. So 50% is the level to get over and then start to consolidate above that before we can get to our next level of around 36 and so on. Our portfolio here on SwiftX, you can find a link to this in the description. I talk about getting multiple exchanges while the market is down. So if you don't have multiple exchanges open, make sure you're doing that now while the chat centers are nice and free and you can set up your accounts while the market's quiet. Go and do that. Whatever exchanges you need to use in your countries. We're at 8,000, so we're 20% down. This was 10,000 USD, 13,200 AUD. So we've seen a little bit of a fall on Solana and on ADA. So they're my altcoin holdings at the moment. And then we've got to get some Bitcoin. We got 54% in Bitcoin, in AUD, the stable coin here. And that gives us about $4,100. So we can get some Bitcoin with this portfolio. Remember, this is a demo portfolio that we're just following the market to get some gains during this next stage. So I'm being quite conservative here. Okay, now let's have a look at Bitcoin and the altcoins. What the risky part, this risky time of investing in altcoins when they're, for one, not at their bottoms, and two, what could happen during the second stage of a Bitcoin bull market, or if you wanted to call it the next Bitcoin bull market, doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's going to do what it's going to do. I'll also mention what to look for to get the gains in altcoins. So which altcoins to look for, what type. All right. So we'll go through this first. The 2 time points I'm going to look at as reference are around the mid of the cycle. So as of May and June, we had tops. This was on Bitcoin and on the altcoins during 2017. This is really important to note. Some people have been asking, well, how do I determine? This is on the Patreon membership, which you can find a link to down below. They're asking, it's really good that you've got the experience from back in 2017. And, you can go and search YouTube and see what else was going on. But if you haven't had that experience through the market, you're kind of lacking how did it all pan out? Like what happened back then so that you can get an idea of what might happen next. So this was a peak. May, June. The next peak for Bitcoin was December, but the altcoins peaked January, some peaked February, and others that came out late in that cycle peaked in April. So you can see we had another top in April on Bitcoin. So things like EOS were peaking at that time. So we're going to look here from one of the peaks to the next peaks. I'm going to use January top because the altcoins peaked in January. So it's about a 500% on Bitcoin from that May top. June is pretty similar. We're at 3,000 or 2,800. So about a 500% increase if you were just holding Bitcoin from May to January. So call it about 7-8 months. You can see here 8 bars. So that's what we have to beat. We've got to beat 800% from May through to January. So if we can't beat 500%, I think I said 800, but if we can't beat 500%, then our altcoins are losing value. They're not worth holding, and we should only be in Bitcoin at that stage. So Doge is the first one I want to have a look at here. May, top to January top, it was down 36%. So just look at these points here. I'm using the peaks because this is generally most people get in. You would possibly know that by now. If you've only been in the market for a few weeks, you got in a good time. If you've been in for a few months, and you probably got in at the peaks, and you realize this is what happens most of the time. Most people buy in at the peaks, hold their positions because they're unsure what to do, and then the market doesn't generally get back to their previous peak. Why am I using the altcoin versus Bitcoin? Well, we want to find out how risky our play is. So if we could just hold Bitcoin instead, because it's less risky than holding all of these different altcoins, then that's what we should do. So we want to compare that asset that we're choosing to risk our Bitcoin in, which in this case is Doge. We want to see, is that going to stack up against Bitcoin? In this case, it didn't, and it fell short by 36%. The disclaimer to all of these is if you bought the low, which came in around October, November for most of these altcoins, and then sold the peak, which was 2 months later, then you can get big gains. So you just want to have a look from the low to the high, 600% on your Bitcoin. So if you invested one Bitcoin in around October, November, and then sold it at the peak, you would now have, what's that, 7 times. So 600%, 7 times your Bitcoin there. So you get your one Bitcoin back plus your profits. But if we're looking at the peaks, which is what most people do, because we know most people do not buy the bottoms, it's not my opinion, it's the way it works in the markets, then we were down 36%. 38%, somewhere around there. You can see that we're down. Let's move on to Litecoin. Litecoin, well, you can see this is pretty much a downtrend, Litecoin versus Bitcoin. So you're better off holding Bitcoin than Litecoin through its entire history, unless you are trading Litecoin, not investing long-term. You don't want to invest long-term in Litecoin based purely off a long-term chart of Litecoin, because it is just a massive downtrend. That's not to say it can't bounce and get you a return, but you got to be following it. And the bounces that Litecoin has had, this is a monthly chart, has only been a few months, 1, 2, 3, 4 months, peaked and then dropped into, what's this month here? November. So we've got, I think this is November, and then January, and then February, March into these tops. So the peak on Litecoin is slightly different. You would have been up about 16% if you had bought Litecoin at the peak and sold it at the next peak. That's pretty risky just to make 16%. You're better off waiting it out, looking for some low, even getting on late and then selling early. You're still going to be safer in that case. It's much riskier to be buying these altcoins at the highs and then waiting for the next high. I'm going to get to some of the examples that we're seeing in today's market as well. But this is just to show that buying these highs or holding onto altcoins to their next stage of the cycle. So from 2017, we had 2 stages. We were like up. There was multiple stages, but essentially looking at what happened, we had a month down. This was our main month reversal here. See that? We had 1 month that actually broke some lows. We had a little bit here, but it was quite quick reversal. And then we took off for that second stage. Let's get into XRP. So you can see a lot of these altcoins actually went down for those months. We peaked out. For XRP, we peaked out in May. Then we peaked out again in January. So top to the low, 7%. That's it. So we had a 7% decline on our, a decrease in our funds from May to February. So we're better off not holding these coins right through. However, so if we did buy at the tops, which a lot of people do, and then we hold it all the way down, and then we wait and hope for the market to come back, it never made it there and we fell 7% short. Since that time, XRP has been down currently. It is down 93%. So if you had bought 1 Bitcoin's worth at this top, you would now have 93% less Bitcoin. But in your dollar value, it might not look so bad. You might think, oh, that's not too bad. Well, I think a lot of people still would think it's bad, but this was your peak in May and current price. So you're up 40%. That's it. For holding this thing for 4 years, you've only got 40%. You're better off being in the stock market. Absolute waste of time. That's XRP. Ethereum, also down, down, down. You're starting to get the point. You're starting to get the point that holding these things through their second stage, as we start to fall, may not be the best idea here. if you had bought at the top. But if you've been buying these lows, then it's not so bad because you're still up and you're waiting for that next move. Hopefully with Ethereum, we have to take some gambles here that we're going to get a move higher than these previous highs, which would mean ETH would probably have to go somewhere close to flipping Bitcoin's market cap, not price. Ethereum's not going to go to 30,000 US dollars just to get above these levels unless Bitcoin's prices also increased a hell of a lot more. So to get to those tops, we need to do another 100% from where we currently are. That's on its Bitcoin value. So at the moment, ETH peaked in June, and then the next peak was in February, and it was down by about 18, 19, 20% from that Bitcoin high. So you're getting the idea here. EOS, similar, but it peaked later, had the April peak, and then it's down, down, down. So EOS has been down, or EOS is currently down 96%, 95% on its Bitcoin value. All right, so just setting the stage here in terms of the riskiness of altcoins. I hope you're starting to get it. I'm going to come across to your comments in just a moment. We've got a few more to get through here, as you can see. Now, we're getting onto the cryptos that peaked in this first stage of the bull market. So you may not have been here for it. Maybe you have. Let me know in the comments, what month did you start in cryptocurrency? Now we are at these lows. So we're measuring from the lows, which happened in December of 2020. So it's only 7-8 months ago. And then in the peak of May. So we know a lot of altcoins peaked in May, but Bitcoin peaked in April. It went up 10,000% on Bitcoin. Now it's down. What do you think is more likely to happen if Bitcoin moves first, which we kind of expect Bitcoin to move first to bring some of that hopium back to the market and bring some more energy back to the market? So I think Bitcoin would have to move first to bring the energy back. So if that happens, then I would expect these to continue to drop a little further. Not to say that these can't break highs, but I think the move gets a little bit harder. They will probably still go up in their USD value. So knowing how much alts tend to fall against their BTC value, we could see it come all the way back to these levels of 400, 500, 600 Satoshis, which brings it into that 90% fall. And this happens over months. It's not going to happen tomorrow or next week. We're going to see some bounces. We're going to hear people say, well, you're wrong, you're stupid, this thing is going up, etc., etc. Like, I'm prepared for that. And they're probably only looking at the dollar chart as well. So we're going to look at the BTC, and I just want to reduce my risk because I want to be in this game long term and make life easier. I don't want to be scattered across all these different altcoins, because you can bet if you weren't here in the bull market, it's going to be mayhem again when all of these alts start coming out, DeFi starts coming out, NFTs start coming out, Oracle start coming out. Like, it's just constant bombardment of noise. So I want to be prepared for that. So I'm looking at Matic, BTC. If I think, I'm preparing for what might happen, I see this thing drop maybe 80%, maybe 90%. I can't see it sort of holding up here. I could be wrong, but I'm preparing for a little bit lower on its BTC value. If it does fall, maybe let's say best case scenario, it does hold up here at around 70% loss, and then Bitcoin has to regain value to drive the market up again. We would need to see Matic BTC increase in value by over 200% just to get back to these old highs. So now at these lows, maybe is a good time, maybe not. But the risk is that it doesn't get back to these old highs, and then you're risking, because we're currently here, you're risking holding this crypto just to make a sort of 70, 80, 90% gain against your Bitcoin. Okay, so the point here is that you could still make the dollar gain, but you'd be holding Bitcoin. Because remember, looking at Bitcoin, it did go up during that next stage by 500%, but a lot of these were down through that period. So you're better off just holding Bitcoin. I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I want to make more Bitcoin, yes, but I also believe there is space in the cryptocurrency space for things like Ethereum, things like Cardano, things like we got Matic or Solana. All right, so that's the risk here that we are going through for that next stage of the bull market. We need to see where these things bottom out, something like Matic, because these are new. They didn't have any history in 2017 bull market or 2018. Let's look at VET. VET is also up 1,300% from that low. Did I call that 10,000 or did I call it 1,000? I feel like I had it. Yeah, that. I can't believe that. 10,000 on Matic. That's huge. So I'd expect it to come back a lot more. VeChain up 1,300%. So if this thing does start to fall back, where is it going to come back to? Probably the support levels here at around 140 to 150 Satoshis. And then if we measure from that point, just to get back to its old all-time high, that's a 200% increase on its Bitcoin value. We've seen that cryptos that are already out generally don't get back to their old Bitcoin value. And if they do, it's very for a brief moment and then they fall again. So it's quite a high risk. But if we're buying at these lows, maybe we want to risk some of our Bitcoin to make 100% and get out early, just in case the market crashes against us. Maybe it only makes 160%. So that's the risk that we're taking with trading or speculating on altcoins. Now, some of the cryptos which have held up okay. ADA. ADA's been holding up reasonably well. 50% levels back here at 2,700. You might ask, why am I always looking at 50%? Just think of them as moving averages. If you want to use those, if you want to use your moving averages, they're kind of similar, but it works in the same way. I'm just measuring the market and seeing where the halfway point is, because the market tends to come back to a halfway level, and the halfway levels are going to change depending on where the next high is. So previously the halfway was here and the market came back to 50%. Now the top is here at 5,000. I'm expecting it to come back to around 27, 2,800 Satoshis, in which case maybe it goes a little lower, maybe it doesn't, but then that's not a bad additional buy-in point for something like Cardano, because I can see this continuing the move in the next stage of the bull market and potentially getting above these tops in that second stage of the Bitcoin bull market. So I think to me, that's a lower risk entry for an altcoin. ADA USD from that peak to the current peak, just as an example, is only up 80%. But if we look at the peak from January 2018 to the peak of May 2021 on its BTC value. So this is if you held ADA from the last peak to the current peak. January to May, it's down 42%. So Bitcoin was a better play. However, Bitcoin is Cardano was a better play if you bought these lows. Last one I have a look at before I come across to your comments are these levels here. So Solana is holding up above its 50%, so that's pretty strong. Sol BTC also looking like a reasonable play for the next stage of the Bitcoin bull. It hasn't had the same sort of crazy move like Matic. You made the huge gains in the first stage of the bull market. Not sure if it'll get there in the second stage. I just think the risk is higher. But for Solana, it doesn't look as bad. It looks like we're holding up now, and maybe we're going to get that bigger move through. Obviously, time will tell. I'm a bit more risk adverse because I want to preserve my capital and make this a long-term game. All right, so I hope I've explained that pretty well. Let me know in the comments if you want to understand a little more about that. I'll come across to your questions now. Got 600 online. Make sure you've hit the like button. If you want to comment, make sure you're subscribed, and let me know what we got going on here. Luna. Dollar cost averaging BTC right now. Yep, we've got that plan. We were just looking at the plan earlier, and I talk about that on pretty much at the beginning of most of the live streams. I just think it's a good way to keep up to date with something. It's really about, if you play sport, whatever you do, you usually have a routine in something. The one thing that people don't have a routine in is with their money, and they just come to YouTube, look at something, go and buy it. This is the money, and the money is your time. So if you lose your money, you're losing your time, and then you're just going backwards. I don't want that for people. I don't want that for myself. It's the same. All right, Link. I had Link I was going to put that in the thumbnail as well, but this is a good example, a really good example of what could come in the second stage of a bull market. So even if you don't care about Link, don't like Link, use it as an example. So I see you dropping your comments now. Let's have a look at Link. I'll get one of these windows up. I'm going to use this. I got Reef there. I saw someone comment Reef. Link. Okay. So Link looks like, so I'm on Link USD. Looks like it's finding a bottom on these highs, which is about $14. But you're here to see how to evaluate your portfolios against Bitcoin, because the whole idea with investing, you want to reduce your risk and make as much gains. Ask any hedge fund manager, any fund manager, or any long-term investor, The whole thing is all you want to do is reduce your risk, make as big a gains as possible. Because if you leave risk, then you're just exposing yourself unnecessarily. So Chainlink, you can see the peak for a lot of DeFi stuff and oracles came in August of 2020. They peaked early. Then they went down. And then for the basically the stage of the bull market, which everyone remembers was from that December through to May period, May, June, they didn't really move. So this is Chainlink. And I think maybe you can hear in the background some drilling next door. So my apologies, it just started. This is all it did through that stage. Whereas you could see something like Matic was taken off. All right, so you don't want to be caught holding something that has already had its peak and then is trying again. So if you were still holding Chainlink from that August peak, then you're down these levels here, 37%. Can Chainlink break these highs again? Look, any of them can do it, but it's just like, what do we think is more possible or probable for that cryptocurrency? And I would say Chainlink would have to wait for a strong Bitcoin bear market to see whether it can make this move again, because this move was made through the entire Bitcoin bear market. That's what it did there. It moved through the whole bear market. The other thing to note on this, and maybe you're just new to the channel, but you notice I always look at 50% levels because the market tends to use them as balancing points. Bottom, high to low, the market rejected hard at 50%. As I've made the comparison before, it could be similar to getting rejected hard at like a moving average. But these obviously move like moving averages because the 50% was once here, and now this is the low. And we can see it start to come in the next month, the next month, the next month, next month, and then it gets rejected. So that's not a strong point. Next stage is we need it to hold up here at around that 45,000 Satoshis because there's lows on all these months previous and then plus this area back before it took off. So Chainlink's in a critical stage. On the log, it's holding up. If it breaks down and starts to go, then it's probably over and it's going to get very weak against Bitcoin. So you're better off holding Bitcoin than Chainlink. Link ETH is on a massive decline. It broke down from these levels and has just been down ever since. So it's just losing ETH value. So you're still better off holding ETH than Link from those periods there, or at least from this peak in August. It was not a time. I had bought some Link through these periods, and then I spoke on the channel about selling it once it broke down. I'm definitely not buying anymore at the moment, although it is low. Got to balance those out, right? Maybe it gets down to these levels and I start to see a reversal, but at the moment it's just straight down. And I talked about it on the channel. I had a comment back saying, you'd never sell Link, you're an idiot. Link is only something that you buy. I said, well, it doesn't show it on the chart. That's all. I'm losing money here. I'm not going to listen to some commenter saying hold it because you should never sell Link when the market's going down and I'm losing. And that's against Ethereum too. Okay, I lost 40% of my ETH value just by holding Link. Joshua, what's going on with AXS? It's going up, it's going down. I think it's one of the, it's an NFT, so it's getting a lot of attention at the moment. Can you please analyze DOT? DOT is one of the ones that I have in my portfolio, but I have not been buying it because the market just hasn't turned. So when I talk about waiting for a low and seeing a reversal, that's why I wait, because you just don't know where the bottoms are coming. I'll take all these lines off it so it makes it a bit cleaner, but this is a monthly chart, remember? It's been straight down. It'll get a reversal at some point, but is that reversal going to be down here at $6? Or is it reversing now? I don't see any signs of it reversing now. On the daily, you might start to get a little bit more action there. So you got a few days up, which is a good sign. It's a good sign. It broke a high. So that could be the early stages of a reversal on DOT. Doesn't mean it's going to go straight up. Does not mean that. But it could mean that this might be an intermediate low and we start to see some basing out, because we definitely want to start to see it go sideways rather than straight down again. DOT BTC, same sort of thing. We had a few days up. So that's a good sign for DOT. 1, 2, 3 days up. This is higher highs, higher lows, not just green candles. And I used the candles today so I can add some color to your life, but I much prefer using bars. Just takes even that next level of noise out of the chart. And I can see my swings. There's a swing bottom, and the market took out a swing top, which is very strong. Remember, it's only a daily. It's not even it's not a weekly yet. So just got to pay attention to the weekly. The next pivot point would be to get above 50,000 Satoshis, 51,000 Satoshis. I'm coming back to your comments. If you haven't already, make sure you hit like. How many likes do we have? We got 700 people online. We got 700 likes, hopefully. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Links are down below. If you want to join us on the Investor Accelerator, there's still a special going on. Sale is on. Link to that is down below. We've got the monthly Patreon if you want to get a taste of it, or the full suite, the full premium package. Also, link to that is down below. Luna. I looked at Cardano in the video. I think Cardano is holding up stronger than the rest. You can just see that by that 50% pivot point. Thanks, guys, for everyone who's just joining. Sorry about the noise in the background if you can hear the drilling. It just started while I was on the stream. So yeah, Cardano I think is quite strong. I looked at ETH. I think that's strong as well. VeChain is very weak. I know a lot of people love to look at VeChain. VET is weak. Look at it. Look at weak. Weak. Look at weak. Look at VET. Here. We just looked at that. It's been weak from the top. I had people asking about it weeks and weeks ago. And I said, this looks like it's going straight down. I had some hope for it here as it broke up, but I want to see the highs get broken. Didn't happen. Down, 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 down. Your VET has cost you, by holding it from that high, the second repeat has been 52% on your Bitcoin value. You've lost half of your Bitcoin value. US dollars from that second peak again in May. You've lost 70%, 75, 70% of your US dollars. All right, so you're not only losing Bitcoin, but you're losing US dollars. So VET is crazy. Is it bottoming? Probably. You got a little congestion here, so we've got a bit of a price cluster. So I'm not saying to sell them. I'm saying pay attention to what the chart has been like before you purchase something. Don't just go off someone telling you good news, VET should be the next big thing, etc., etc. Go and look at a chart. And this is just facts. This is not my opinion. The market is in a downtrend. I want to see something like these sorts of trends start to play out and then break highs. That is my entry right there. I don't need to buy this. I don't need to be a hero. I want to make sure I'm getting in as the market is strengthening. That's my entry there. All right. XRP is the same deal. It's down. Just open up a chart. Look, check it out. We looked at this in the stream as well, just a little earlier on. Down, 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 down. It's been down for years. This is against its Bitcoin value, and it never got back to its old high. It could be a good trade. If we start to break these highs of around 3,000, 3,200 Satoshis, it could be a good trade to, who knows, go to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, right? But for me, XRP is a trade, not a long-term hold, because its long-term trend is down against Bitcoin. I'm better off holding Bitcoin. I want a long-term trend that's up against Bitcoin. Then that's a good hold instead of Bitcoin. And at the moment, I don't see much except maybe stuff like Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, and one that I've looked at before and is holding its value against Bitcoin. You don't really hear it online because it's a privacy coin and most people complain that they can't really buy it. But XMR is holding up. It's not confirmed, but a solid low is put in. We want to see this hold and this level here hold. All right. It's not a buy signal. It's a put on your watch list and wait to see what happens because it's starting to fall a little bit here. All right. It's at its 50% level. It's not a buy. It's not a buy signal. Okay. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Bitcoin broke trend. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, 32,700. I'm not sure what you're referring to when you said broke trend. I don't see what you're talking about here. It's aiming to get above 32,900. So if we can crack the 33,000 today and close above it for 2 or 3 days, that's looking like a much more solid play going forward so it can tackle the next level of 36K. Bull trap, potentially. I'm not calling it a bull trap yet because we have had some solid lows put in. If this thing starts to break up 36, say 42, then I might reconsider. Could you clarify your argument? Let's say I invest just 10,000 worth of my Bitcoin in DOT or SOL at $10 for a medium hold. Isn't it more likely to 10x from here than Bitcoin? It does have the potential. That's why we invest in altcoins, to gain more USD and more Bitcoin. I don't really look at altcoins as long-term holds unless they've proven themselves. So Ethereum, to me, has proven itself. How much has been built on that? How huge the ecosystem is? That's the sort of thing that's proven itself. Solana is getting there as a new project. Cardano, it has a huge community, but it still doesn't do anything. So we're taking the gamble on it that it will do something, and that's cryptocurrency for you. You know, once it does something, that means the price has already factored that in, right? So DOT and SOL have the potential to gain more value, but remember, Bitcoin might increase by 2 or 3 times, which means their BTC value would have to then skyrocket even more to get back to where it currently is. Moon phases. I think we looked at this last time. Maybe it was yourself that mentioned it. Moon phases are good. I would say look at the end of the month on Bitcoin. It is crazy the turns that happen. Check this out. All right, end of January 22, and it's not a dead on. Okay, it's not a dead on, but just so that you're aware, the sort of last 7, 8, 9 days of the month on Bitcoin has produced some reasonable turns. 22, you got another turn here, 27th. That's a solid turning date, and they're up. Where's February? February 28th, solid turning date, and we're up. This is March 25th, and we're up. April 25th, and we're up. May 19th and 23rd was that low. Remember, this was a very extreme time, and for the market to make a turn at an extremely bearish time, that's pretty solid. Even though it doesn't look like much, you got to look at it like the market is throwing everything at you, and it could still hold up on those turn dates. So it's the end of the month. Maybe I'll do a video on this separately, just so that it's covered on its own, because this is a really important thing, which I can label one signal that no one's looking at, because no one really adds in like moon phases or astrology and stuff like that. 22nd of June, this is a seasonal date. 21st, which is the solstice. This is your winter summer solstice. That pulled the market up before we traveled down again, and now we've just seen a turn on the 20th. So it's starting to get a little bit, that day or two earlier. And I think we're about to have a full moon, or unless we already have. Call me woo-woo, wacko. I don't care. If it works in the market and it makes you money, why wouldn't you use it? What exchanges do you recommend besides SwiftX? Look, I use SwiftX primarily, but like I've talked about opening up multiple exchanges, then you'd go with some of the other major cryptocurrency exchanges, say for the Aussies, Australia. You got Independent Reserve, you got CoinSpot. They're probably the main 3 that I would look at. You have more currencies on those. Independent Reserve's getting a few more. But obviously I say that I use SwiftX as the major there. I like the demo account that they have on there. Luna. Do I have Luna on here? Look at Luna. Not bad. I looked at Luna earlier and people were wanting to get into it up here, but that is just downtrend. That's why I've got that yellow line up there. We were looking at it back in April and May. Well, that was in April. I just couldn't find myself getting into it there. But now, low, what's that? A higher low. This has broken through this high, and now we see another higher low forming. It's not confirmed yet. There's still 3 days to go because it could just fall from here and break this low. But that's a good signal. That's a good sign moving forward. That's for sure. Let's put on some bars so people can enjoy the color here. See, the color just it doesn't show the swing in there, and that's an important swing. That's good choice on Luna, I think. That's on the dollar chart. Let's have a look at Luna. It's not often that I say there's something that's good, is it? You know, Luna BTC. That's also up, obviously. Where did this hit? Look at that. Kind of a double top, and it went right to 150%. So that's a good low. It pulled up on previous price resistance as well. You see that on the lines, the dotted line here. That's good. So that's what you want to see. You want to see like a low start to form. Think of it like a construction site, and they start to put in a foundation. There's multiple points here to show the foundation is being laid for Luna. Doesn't mean it's there yet, but it's got those signals. You can see something like Matic has no signals yet. Let me have a look. I only had it on the monthly. Nah. Signals are barely coming in. Sure, we got a green, it's coming up, but it's not on any sort of support. There's no other sort of patterns coming here. Yeah, that's better, definitely. With great risk comes great reward. We are taking a lot of risk by investing in Bitcoin. We've looked at Cardano. We're taking a lot of risk by investing in cryptocurrencies. You don't want to make it any harder for yourself. And remember, most people lose. Most people lose money. So stack the odds in your favor. George says every day is pump time. We're all FUD. You need to take big risk to make big bucks. Big risk is big. As much as you don't think it is, Bitcoin is a pretty sizable risk. If you're getting 100, 200% return per annum, that's pretty solid. If you're just new to investing, most people are looking at 5, 6, 7% returns per annum. Right. If you go into something that's a bit more riskier, then they're looking at sort of 15 to 20, maybe 25, maybe 30. But yeah, it's sort of, to go into that 100%, if you got to wait 12 months to get yourself 100, 200%, it's very, very good returns. CRO is holding up. I'm looking at everything against the Bitcoin value today. So that's the whole idea about today's video, being that the market is risky to invest in altcoins because they can lose so much of their Bitcoin value. And we want to retain Bitcoin value because Bitcoin goes up in price against the US dollar, against any of our fiat currencies. Crypto.com on the weekly, that is showing good signs too. See the highs? We've just put in higher low and broken above these highs, put in another higher low. Good sign so far. This is one of my good holds. That is not such a good hold, obviously. But this is kind of, where was I looking? Around 600 I started. There was a little kink on the daily here, and then this is a good accumulation zone. You can see this starting to form. This doesn't mean that we're going up from this point because we still haven't proved ourselves. We need to start to close above these highs. So if the market breaks down underneath these lows, make sure these lows don't get taken out. That's it. Let's keep it simple. Have I done my tax? In the process. Have you done yours? Yeah, look, these things pump, but if it's pumped, you're catching sloppy seconds. Why do you want to get on the back of a pump? I mean, that doesn't excite me at all. You zoom out on it. Awesome. It could be the start of something. I get that, but I'm not about to jump on board some sloppy seconds from that point. It broke some highs. Can it close above these highs? Let's bring out some volume. it got some good volume. That's a good start. We're on the daily. Remember, XLM has just been going down since that May top. So it's had a pretty solid move down. And don't forget, during the bull market, when you zoom out, this was a good one to show as well. It didn't do anything. It went from these lows in January to those peaks 300%. So January to May, what did Bitcoin do? This is Stellar versus Bitcoin. During Bitcoin's move, January, May, it did 100%. But remember, it started earlier, whereas XLM was going down in that period. So it had some catching up to do. So those peaks, what do you got? 120%. So it's less. Bitcoin did less, but it started way earlier, whereas XLM was going down, down, down. Need to get above some highs for XLM. All right. What's your current take on Bitcoin volumes? What volume on Bitcoin would get you into a bull's confirmed mode? I want to see it start to compare to, I wouldn't say the May 19th low, but something more than what we've seen. But more importantly, I want to start to see some of the highs get taken out. Yes, we did that in the stream. If you want to make some money, buy in low on a coin like ADA and wait until 2025. I mean, get about 25,000. Yeah, look, Cardano still has the potential to drop below 80 cents. I'm not saying we're going up into a bull market just yet, but I don't see it not doing well in the next stage. I need a big bagger with huge risk. The good thing with this is you don't need to risk your entire portfolio. You know, you can put part of it into these big coins, which is what I was going to get at the end. We were looking at cryptocurrencies that are potentially not going to do well during the next stage of the Bitcoin bull. What to look for in the next stage of the Bitcoin bull is coins that haven't been released yet. Okay, that sounds stupid, but think about look at here. Let's just put it on a chart rather than me just rambling on here. Let's go to a chart. Okay. Okay, something that hasn't been released. All right, Matic was a good example. All right, Icon. Icon released 2017. Bull market peak, died out. 2021 bull market, couldn't make it, has died out. Happened in its Bitcoin value as well. Crushed. Matic released during a bear market, peaked in 2021. Is it going to continue? To me, I'm not going to take that risk until I see very, very low prices, and then I can get another pump because I know Matic will come back again. It's on people's minds. So I'm looking at stuff that either A, hasn't been released yet, so I'll wait to see what comes out, or B, something that gets released during the bear market, which is at the moment. So if something is released now and is a good project, that has a better potential because it doesn't have any Bitcoin history already. So it hasn't been priced against Bitcoin yet. That's what I'm looking for. Something that's released in a Bitcoin bear or something that's released later. All right. But it has to be a good project. Just can't be anything because some of these things just don't take off. Someone mentioned Reef. Reef has been going down, 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 down. Reef BTC down as well. Hopefully these things get to come back in the next stage. Sol BTC is holding up above its 50%. So they're the two things that I'm looking at. Something that's released in a bear and something that is released after, as we get through to the bull stage again. All right. I don't know who's asking what. One more question. Who's this salty person? Thirsty guy. I am a little thirsty. Who are you talking to? Me or someone else? Golden bear. Tail end of a bear. Yeah, I think so. Omi. No, I don't keep up with the McAfee thing. McAfee. Omi. Let's have a look. Quick look at Omi. I think it's been going down. It had a little pump. Where is it? I had it down here. I think it's under wrapped. So hard to find. Omi. Owens. Omi. No, not that. Here we go. Wrapped Omi token. I mean, look, it's down against ETH. It's crap. It's fallen through that support level at the moment. So I'm not getting overly excited just yet. Oh, no, not you. Okay, good. All right, so last mention here, because I just see a comment. So alts are not, I can't find it, but I've just read it. So alts are not going up again. No, that's definitely not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they can go up. They can go up, but you got to look at the risk of holding Bitcoin versus the altcoin that you're holding. So knowing that altcoins may not, the ones that have already been out, may not perform as well against Bitcoin value during the second stage of the Bitcoin bull market, then you got to adjust your expectation. So Matic, for example, went up a lot during the first stage of the Bitcoin bull market. I'm just using an extreme example here. Matic ran up like 10,000%. 10,000, 11,000%. If Bitcoin increases in value, then this means that Matic will also have to increase in a huge number on its USD value as well. So Matic might fall and base out in these levels, which it has done before. So I'm looking for price clusters of where a low might form. I'm not sold on this being a low for Matic. I think it's had a bounce, which it's bound to do, and then it will probably fade out again. Should it get back to one of these levels, maybe it bounces up to some of the, to its 50%. Maybe it bounces to some highs. It'll still have very good gains against Bitcoin, but I'm not expecting it to get back to any of these old all-time highs, because that would mean it would have to do like from these levels 8, 9, 100%, maybe 1,000%. It could do it, but the risk, I'm stacking the odds against myself here. So I'm happy to take a chunk out of the middle, add that to my Bitcoin holdings, and then move on. You've seen it now once, what happens if you get too greedy, and then we just miss out on everything. I missed your super chat. All right, mention it again. Negs. What do you sell at the top? It's up to you. However much you want to sell, you sell. I know you're asking me, what percentage of your portfolio do you sell at the top? How much do you hodl? But most of my portfolio is Bitcoin and ETH, so I'm happy to hold a lot of it, and I buy at the lows. So it doesn't affect me too much. When it comes to trading altcoins, like I talked about in April at the top and May at the top, I get rid of that stuff. I don't want to be holding that long term, because I did that through 2017, 2018, and I hate having that stuff on my books. Just go. Get lost. It's too much of a risk not to invest in altcoins. Only Bitcoin maxis think anything but Bitcoin is an altcoin. You are a beat. Highly doubt it, S. James. Highly doubt it. I'm not even wedded to. I like Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I love ETH. I love any of the projects that are doing something good. But I have been a zealot in other areas of life before. I've been a zealot in health. I've been a zealot. Uh, what else? Probably with some training and stuff like that. Zealot, just like that's the only way, and that's what Bitcoin maxis are. So I know I've gone through that stage, and you can be wrong. So Bitcoin can still be wrong. A Bitcoin maxi would never say Bitcoin could be wrong. All right. So these can all still be wrong, but I see Bitcoin as the best opportunity at the moment. I still prefer Bitcoin over the stock market, over real estate, over anything like that at the moment. I would say it's not, I would say it is risky for most people to just go out blindly and invest in altcoins because they're not pricing it up against a Bitcoin value and they're not getting the timing right. I do believe it's about timing the market and then time in the market. This whole time in the market thing, if you buy the top like we just saw and then you hold in, you're going to be down. So time in the market will make you lose. If you bought XRP at the top, if you bought Link at the top against its BTC value, if you bought VET at the top, you're probably going to be down. So time in the market will make you'll have a lower portfolio value than timing, say, getting a reasonable time. You don't have to get the exact bottom, but like a reasonable bottom on something like Bitcoin or ETH or Cardano, potentially. Still not proven yet. But we're betting on the fact that it will prove itself. That's the point with a lot of this cryptocurrency projects. XRP is up because it didn't rise yesterday. XRP is a garbage investment. It doesn't take a genius. Like, I don't know why I'm still repeating these things. And if you want to like it's down everywhere. XRP is garbage. I don't care for half of these projects because they're just all talk. See it time and time again. They just talk. There's the old 2018 high. Here's the current high. There's the current price. Then look at XRP BTC. That's just a mega downtrend. It's right in front of your face. It's just down, 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 down into oblivion, into nothing. Like, I'm not making this up. This is not my opinion. This is what you want to look at so that you don't get screwed into some sort of zealotry plan of XRP is the only way, blah, blah, blah. Sure, if the SEC court case comes out in positive light for XRP, sure, it'll definitely get a pump. Will it pump back to some old all-time highs? If it pumps, will it be able to hold that level and continue to gain on its BTC? That's yet to be seen. So this could be a good trading level for XRP. It's at the moment, it's proven itself to be a piece of garbage as a long-term investment. It's proven it on the chart. It's a garbage long-term investment. As a trade to make more Bitcoin, look at that. That's a beautiful trade to get more Bitcoin. All right, 5,000%. Beautiful trade to get more Bitcoin. 800 people online. Make sure you've liked up. Subscribe if you want to comment. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. There's a special on the Investor Accelerator. Link to that is down below. Monthly Patreon. And then, of course, there's free newsletter looking at all this stuff that we're talking about here. If you want to get some more regular insights into cryptocurrency stocks, real estate, we'll look at the cycle as well. Toby at Crypto Tips is a guy who will never sell his BTC. He will sell alts, but then goes back into BTC. Sure, I reckon that's not a bad idea either. Thank you. Not a financial advice. Exactly. End of year price. What are we going to throw out there? Anywhere between $600 and $5,000. I honestly don't know. I don't really look for those set prices because it doesn't mean anything. Think about all the set prices we've seen. Bitcoin to 300,000 in September, Bitcoin to 500,000 by the end of the year, Bitcoin, like none of it ever makes any sense. But if you want to do it for fun, I totally get that. Awesome. Awesome. Been buying solid at projects. I've never heard of many people talk about projects like BPro. I just hear it all the time. I don't get a good feel about it when I hear about it all the time like that. Cool, guys. We have clicked over the hour mark. Thank you very much for joining me today. I know I've been getting these streams down to about 45 minutes. So we've gone a little bit longer today because we wanted to get through and talk about the altcoin risk here. And I do see that it brings up a bit of emotion in some people. But I'm happy to talk through it. And, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But the charts are just showing a lot of these have big downtrends, and they have a lot of risk going into the next stage of the Bitcoin bull market, whenever that happens, because the Bitcoin price is going to be a lot higher because it brings in the energy, it brings in all of the attention. I mean, that's known. Bitcoin generally brings in all the attention. One day it might decouple, but for now it brings in the attention. Bitcoin price rises, which obviously means the altcoin BTC pair will fall to stay in alignment with their altcoin USD price. And if all that's too much, rewatch the stream, first 20 minutes, go through it all in detail. Plus, I've got several videos like this on the channel. So stick around, subscribe, like the special on the Investor Accelerator, link down below, lifetime specials. Check that out. And of course, the free newsletter, which comes out once every 2 weeks. Drop your email address. We'll catch you over there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's Saturday morning for me. So won't be bright and early, but we'll have another good stream. We'll be talking about a lot of good stuff. Maybe some altcoins to look at in a bear market, probably like Bitcoin and stuff like that. But I'll see you then, guys. Thank you very much for all of your comments, sticking with me through the hour-long show today. Catch you next time. Until then, let me get my buttons ready. Have more fun to get more done.